Weekend edition, Danielle Noyce here for the 1 Degree Outside Weather Network with the snow flying across New England. A reminder, our free 1 Degree Outside Weather app is a great tool to have. Interactive radar on a day like today, fun to look at, past plus future mode, see where the snow is, where it's going. Individual videos right on there too. You've got access to everything, including our 24/7 weather stream, first and only for New England. You can watch us on TV. That's right. Open up your YouTube app on your smart TV and search 1 Degree Outside Network. We're always at 1degreeoutside.live as well. Here's a setup storm center down over the ocean. Arctic front coming in. We've got this little line, this little trough, this little wind shift that's going to pivot, you notice, through New England, helping to focus areas of snow and some localized bands that will have some heavier bursts in them today. You notice it sinks southward over the course of this evening and overnight tonight. High pressure building into our west means a quiet but cold day for our Sunday and into the start of next week, though we start to get a little bit of moderation and a return to temperatures that will be in the 30s. And along that boundary, you notice by the time we get to Tuesday, we may get a little more light snow that spreads in between that transition. All right, let's time things out. Do you notice one thing right off the bat? That there are deeper blues in spots, and then there are some lulls in spots too. So this is the theme today. There will be some very narrow focus bands of snow, and then in between it'll be lighter. Notice for southeastern Massachusetts to the Cape as well. Over the course of mid to late morning, some steadier bursts from Essex County that have already been dropping some heavy snow and quarter-mile visibility will shift into eastern Massachusetts. Another little band here in and around Worcester, stretching down into southern Rhode Island. And then in between, yes, some holes, northern Vermont, down through the lower Connecticut River Valley, western Connecticut, central and eastern Maine. Notice by the time we get to mid to late afternoon, the coverage is tending to dwindle and the intensity, though we do get one little last gasp here between about 4 and 5 p.m., and then still some lingering pockets of snow for far southeastern Massachusetts and perhaps the tip of Essex County until about 6 to 8 p.m. And then the mid and outer Cape may have a little bit of ocean effect that lingers for the outer Cape, especially places like Wellfleet down to Orleans and Chatham until at least around or just after midnight before it wraps up. It's all about the cold. Notice those temperatures dropping sub-zero through the interior, single digits even at the coast, and the wind kicking up too. So we'll get to the wind chill forecast in just a second. Predicted snowfall across New England, no big changes to our map, but I want to zoom in here and give you a closer look. It's a little bit less across lower Connecticut River Valley, down across southern Connecticut, where it's more like 1 to 2, and even a coating to an inch in far southwest Connecticut. Then we bump it up to 2 to 4 from the Berkshires in through a lot of eastern Connecticut. I think a lot of areas end up with a 3 to 6 inch snowfall amount, but as we zoom in here, there's a couple different bullseyes to look at. One across far southeastern Rhode Island, perhaps tucking into far southern Bristol County in Massachusetts, where we may get a little enhancement with 6 to 8. And then 2 to 4 hugging the coastline from places like Marshfield down through Duxbury, Kingston, Plymouth here. And then we bump it up 4 to 6 for a lot of the Worcester area, 495, 128. Although somewhere like Boston will probably be between 4 and 5. You do notice that we ramp things up here when you get back up to the Merrimack Valley. So we go quickly from about 4 in Lowell to about 5 in Lawrence to perhaps close to 6 in Haverhill. And then there's been some enhancement here with a little band coming in off the ocean from places like Beverly up towards right along the line of Peabody, Danvers, up towards Ipswich that may have some locally higher totals that may go 8 or more inches. But that's the localized nature of it. Some of that may actually extend into far southeastern portions of New Hampshire and perhaps the far tip of southern York County. Otherwise, it's a widespread 4 to 6 when you get up 93. Towards the lakes region, tapers off a bit to 2 to 4, and that will be the case across a lot of Vermont for us too, with a few spots. You notice the deeper blues here with elevation that pick up 4 to 6. And then Coos County stretching into western Maine. This is more like a 1 to 2 inch fluffy event, and then coating to an inch across a lot of the central and eastern Maine area, with actually little, if anything, from Aroostook County to down east Maine. It is a fluffier consistency, although in southeastern Massachusetts, there's a little more moisture to work with here. And then the wind kicks up. Let's talk about the predicted wind gusts. Over the course of the morning and even midday, we're doing all right. But do you notice how quickly it ramps up? Wow, look at the yellows here. A lot of gusts between about 35 and 45 miles per hour. The Cape may see a gust isolated to about 50 miles per hour this evening. And then notice as we head throughout the overnight, it's on the northwest side and the back of that Arctic front. By the time we get to overnight, northern New England, yeah, we're 20 to 30, but southern New England, we will gradually throttle back. That said, when this amount of cold is coming in, a gust 20 to 30 miles per hour still really adds that bite to the air. So where is the Arctic front? Do you see those deep pinks and purples here. It sweeps through from west to east. So the predicted wind chill by midday to early afternoon in western New England is already 5 to 15 below zero, spreading east. So Worcester drops below zero late afternoon to early evening. Eastern Massachusetts, southern Maine drops right around zero or below that between about 6 and 8 p.m. And then somewhere like the Cape and down East Maine, it waits a little longer for us. Single digits, but feeling like below zero, about 0 to 10 below on Cape Cod early tomorrow morning. And most of the rest of us, 10 to 20 below from the Worcester to Boston stretch. Somewhere like Worcester, at least with a little bit of elevation, will feel as cold as 25 below zero and then 30 below zero through the interior. That's when the frostbite, 20 to 30 below, sets in as little as 15 to 30 minutes. So we're dressed appropriately, even at the warmest time of the day. For our Sunday, it feels like it's around zero and sub-zero through the interior. That makes these high temperatures, by the time we get to Monday, seem not so bad, right? Teens and 20s, there'll still be a gusty breeze, so you can knock off about 5 to 10 degrees, and that's what it'll feel like. Monday night still gets really cold, single digits, teens from Boston to the Cape, and then notice far northern New England like Burlington, St. Johnsbury, Berlin, New Hampshire, and back up into northern Maine, single digits, both above and below zero. And then Tuesday, there's that transition to a little bit of milder air, 20s to lower 30s, still below average. But with that transition will come some clouds and perhaps some pockets of snow. So that's the next disturbance that we'll watch for you, of course. And a reminder, we've got 4 membership levels to give back and also get exclusive content, membership.onedegreeoutside.com for all the details. Of course, all our weather always on social media and the number onedegreeoutside.com. We'll keep you posted on everything this weekend.